Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll be as brief as I can. I got several handouts for the committee. And for the record, I'm State Senator Sam Cataldo from representing District 6 and I live in Farmington. The amendment that's being proposed is relative to the duties of the statewide education improvement assessment program, legislative oversight committee, and repealing the school administration unit legislative oversight committee. Amend the bill by replacing all and after enacting clause of the following, if I may, and I'll try to be as brief and so I can leave. New paragraph, statement education improvement assessment program, duties of the legislative oversight committee, amend RSA 193-C:8 by inserting after paragraph X, being number 10, the following new paragraph 11. Compare the current educational standards with Common Core standards to determine which contains the level of rigor that the New Hampshire students will need to enter a higher education program and to succeed in the 21st century. Examine how the Common Core standards relate to New Hampshire current standards and examine the impact, if any, of applying national standards at local schools. Should teach, and D, study whether Common Core standards are at least as rigorous as New Hampshire current educational standards and examine the impact, if any, at the local level of the use of Common Core standards. Repeal the following are repealed. RSA 194-C:11, RSA 194-C:12, and effective date is upon passage of this bill. Madam Chair, if I may, there's several handouts I've given to you. If the committee would take the time to read and understand what the amendments were, I would appreciate it doing. I have to leave, you know why, okay, and I have to be in Massachusetts by 12 o'clock. And I won't take any questions if I may.
Okay,
Thank you very much for taking my time.
Another absolutely.
Okay, thank you very much.
And I will recess that hearing and go back to Senate Bill 350. So, Joe.
Good morning, Senator.
On Senate Bill 343. And before I call anyone to the table, I would like to remind you that Senator Cataldo has put in an amendment which puts a responsibility of looking into and examining. He has been very clear about the standards that he wants the oversight committee to look to. And he has also repealed the oversight committee for SAU. So that's the only thing I want you to speak to is, do you agree that, do you have any issue with it being put over to the oversight committee, which we already have, a commission that does exactly what is said here, and repealing the SAU oversight committee? That's all I need you to speak to. I don't need you to tell me whether you like the Common Core, whether you don't like the Common Core, or anything else. It's a responsibility for oversight. So, that being said, Senator Carson supports and does not want to speak. Senator Reagan supports and does not want to speak. Heather Gage from the area is here. Wants to speak. And I would remind you of what I'm asking you to speak to.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Chair. For the record, I'm Heather Gage with the New Hampshire Department of Education, and I'm actually thrilled with the amendment that it does put it over the Legislative Oversight Committee. That was one of the recommendations that we were certainly going to make. I also believe that the Oversight Committee already has this in their purview, given 193E and 193H. Within the duties of the Legislative Oversight Committee. So I'm not sure that the bill is needed at all, given those two sections, but we're certainly having this under the Legislative Oversight.
Questions of the committee? Seeing none, thank you very much. Representative Ladd opposed the bill. He spoke with me initially before, and I told him I thought an amendment was coming in, so he said his opposition was to the original. Scott?
I would just speak that we would now support that to go to the Oversight Committee.
Thank you very much. You get gold star for the guy, that's a
Not in a fun direction.
You put it over to you. Mark Joyce.
I'll try to be equally short. I support the intention of the amendment. The only concern I would have is that it already exists within the statutory power of that standing committee to do this work. So it may be an unnecessary bill, but it certainly would give them direction. The other, I don't want to miss a chance to plug, the SAU oversight is still an important one because of the issue I addressed in prior testimony. I think we have very loose requirements for how an SAU is structured in order to accomplish your laws, so I worry about that.
Okay, I need to remind you that it was a unanimous vote of the oversight committee of SEUs to
Do this.
repeal it because they felt that the duties that they were asked to do was to look at the moving of districts in and out, when really all of those things fall under the purview of the state board of education.
Okay, thank you.
Doris. And again, I remind you that that's what I'm asking you to speak to. Law?
Good morning, Chairman and members of the committee. Passed out what testimony you had prior to the amendment. I think my concern, I'm glad that the oversight committee is doing it. I think the original bill gave a structure that wouldn't have given a good result. I'm more concerned with the legitimacy of some of these programs, and I go through my testimony, and I don't know if you want me to go through it or not whether it is the most rigorous set of standards in the galaxy. Because even if it was the most rigorous set of standards ever known to man, there are some very real legal problems that no one is willing to address.
And it will be addressed in this piece of legislation. That's where we're gonna carry this discussion to, testimony to.
Okay, as long as the discussion is more than whether or not these are better or worse than what we had, whether they're rigorous or not, and those are just adjectives, is subjective determinations. What we have is really big trespass of the law. I mean, it's voluntary that we have these standards, but then it's mandatory that we're test on those standards, and there are statutes
And so
saying.
do you agree that they should be put under the oversight committee? That's,
Oh, I agree that it should be, but I just want a broad scope under the oversight committee. If we're going there, let's do the whole job, let's not just say,
I think that's clearly stated in.
okay, I haven't seen the amendment, and I just wanna make sure that they're gonna
Thank
really
you.
look at it. Thank you.
Deborah Owens?
I pass.
Thank you. I'm not speaking anymore. Sorry, I didn't look that far. And thank you. And I would remind the same thing to you too.
Andrea Danfield, representing Cornerstone. I'm not familiar with that, so please kind of give me the guidelines if I go beyond what you.
Basically what Senator has done is he has taken his original bill and he has pushed it over to the existing oversight commission to carry out those tasks.
Okay.
And he has also eliminated the SAU oversight committee.
Okay, the tasks, I just wanted to go through what I thought should be added to this, and you let me know if that's appropriate or not. I felt like this was good legislation, I supported it, but for instance, if they're gonna make comparison, or if they're gonna look at the standards for being rigorous or not, I think that they need to look at other standards, for instance. You know, the committee who will be looking at this, are they going to include teachers, like school psychologists, those?
The oversight committee is already established.
Okay, okay. I think that answers my question. I think that answers my concern, so
All right.
I'm gonna leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone?
Question of Anne Reed, but I do have a question of DOE,
Okay.
if you
I'm
want to
sorry.
bring it back up.
Sure.
Bless whoever, Lauren said with Senator Gilmore. Thank you for coming back up. Just trying to understand the amendment, I think it's catching some of us a little off guard. The School Administrative Legislative Oversight Committee is looking to be repealed. What is that? What is their duties? And obviously you can't speak for Senator Cataldo,
Sure.
but someone had to have some conversation about why someone's suggesting it should be repealed. So who are they? What do they do? What are they overseeing? And why are some suggesting it should be repealed?
Senator,
Since
That's
I'm
you.
chair of that, since I'm chair of that.
There we go. I knew someone would be in charge today.
Since I'm
Thank
chair
you.
I don't
of that,
mind being in charge, but
I can tell you that we had a meeting, last year actually, that, and everyone agreed that the moving of SAUs from one district to another district, forming their own district, we clarified all of that a couple of years ago, is for the withdrawal process, that's clearly spelled out in the statutes. Anything that pertains to a school district choosing to leave or not leave goes to the State Board of Education, and they have very clear standards of which they have to follow in order to review that. So
So
the only thing we would be doing is saying, oh yes, this district is going over to ask to go out, this one's not. I mean, there wasn't a lot.
So for clarification, that this legislative oversight committee was only essentially tasked with monitoring SAUs moving from one group to another group, and that was really all they did. You codified it in law and now send it.
Right.
Making government smaller. I like that, Senator.
On two commissions, if you will.
Um,
Sarah, you should congratulate Senator Cataldo, he actually reduced two.
Thank you, ma'am.
Anyone else that needs to speak? Seeing none, we'll close the hearing on Senate Bill 343, and thank you very much. Let me pass that down.